This is the disturbing story of Rob Smith. Rob was an ordinary, homeless man, until the boss man of Canopy approached him. He wanted him to draw new building layouts for Canopy, and in return he would be fed. "17 minutes later, the man told the boss man he was finished. But the boss man wasn't happy with what he did. The boss man still needed one thing from him. He was gonna turn into something amazing. The next time he woke up, he felt weak and big. After that, he would never fail again.
Follow for part 2.
This is the horrible story of Mike McLean. He was Canopy's #1 aquatic researcher. The boss man tasked him to go into the lake and find scrap. So, without question, he went in. As he swam about, he saw some weird things. And he found many items and put them in his bag. Once he found his last item, he would swim back to the boss man. When he arrived, he showed the boss man what he got. And he was very pleased. But then he showed the boss man something he would regret. The boss man tied him up and would make him into something special. This is the story of Jacob Smith. Jacob was a miner at heart, but was recently curious on the disappearance of his brother Rob Smith, but was employee of Canopy. But one day his whole life changed. The boss man of Canopy approached him as Jacob was one of their employees. The boss man needed Jacob to collect ores for a project. Once Jacob was done, he would meet the boss man to deliver the ores. And for once, someone did the job right. The boss man was so pleased with what Jacob had done, he gave him 1 hour to do whatever he wanted. But then Jacob was so happy, he tripped and fell into some weird goop. And he was angry and big. This is the terrible story of Dylan Musketeer. Dylan was one of the fishing specialists of Canopy, and he really enjoyed his job. And one day the boss man asked Dylan to go in and explore the cave. So, without question, he agreed. So, Dylan geared up and went in. But then he started to feel uneasy, like he was being watched. Once he made it out, he thought everything was okay. But then the boss man suddenly appeared behind him. But then the boss man's weapon was out of ammo. So, without thinking, Dylan hit the boss man with his crowbar. And then the fight commenced. Dylan was using all his strength against the boss man, but it simply wasn't enough. And then boss man was ready for one final blow.
Thunder rumbles distant, dark clouds loom.
And the boss man tossed him in the leg. This is the creepy story of Hunter King. Hunter was a lonely, homeless boy who lived in a cave and played with his toy all day long. But one day he accidentally threw his toy in a building. So he went in to retrieve his toy. But he wanted to see what was up those stairs. But an employee of Canopy saw him and kicked him out. So Hunter left in sadness, wishing he could stay one day. So when Hunter was 17, he started to have an obsession with tech, which would lead him to make very cool things. One day something happened that would change his life forever. Someone stole his lifetime toy right off him, which led him to do bad things to find it. Eventually making him return to the one place who turned him down. He was gonna rule over Canopy and make them feel bad like they made him. And he became the boss man. This is the crazy story of Daniel Thorne. Daniel was one of the researchers at Canopy, and he was quite good at his job. But the boss man was sick of him and asked him to go and research a mysterious lake. So, without question, he agreed. Once he made it through the shark place, he arrived at the lake. He saw the water, and he really liked it. But little did he know, he was being followed. As he was looking at the water, the boss man slowly approached him. The boss man tried to choke him, but ended up failing. He tried to run, but hit his shoulder and fell. So the boss man went up to him and took his weapon. So he fled. But the thing is, Daniel had a plan. He was gonna drown the boss man. But Daniel wasn't safe for long. The infuriated and injured Boss Man was ready to beat Daniel to a pulp. But Daniel wasn't done yet. So Daniel took this opportunity to kill the Boss Man. While the Boss Man was unconscious, he went to see what was in the water. And it was none other than Dylan Musketeer. And he pulled him out of the water. So they discussed what to do about Hunter Kane and get more information on him. So they revived Jacob Smith. So they talked about the Boss Man and made a plan on what to do. The Boss Man's crimes will come back to him. This is the story of Canopy Bot. Canopy Bot was built by the unknown creator of Canopy. And after Daniel Thorne's attack on the Boss Man, he tried to get up and remembered Daniel's bag and needed it. So, without hesitation, he jumped in the water to retrieve it. And was still injured, but made it out ready to take what was in the bag. So he emptied the bag out and found multiple bits of weapon equipment and was very happy, so he was gonna use it and get revenge. But out of nowhere the Canopy Bot jammed down from a cliff to meet the Boss Man, but instead knocked him out, not remembering that he is the boss of Canopy. Meanwhile, Daniel Thorne and Dylan Musketeer were fleeing in the forest in panic. So they found a resting place, or so they thought. And then Canopy Bot came down on them to attack. Dylan tries to fight back, but fails. And Dylan thought he would meet his demise until Daniel saved him, which made Canopy Bot angry. And Canopy Bot will end Daniel. And Daniel couldn't go any further and died that day. Meanwhile, injured Dylan had to run from Canopy Bot. And then Dylan met his demise. But out of nowhere, lost Jacob Smith arrived at the forest, and Canopy Bot started to strangle him. But the Boss Man stopped him and acted all nice and let Jacob come back with him and join him. And the Boss Man claimed that the Armstrong was a test and he passed, and offered to help Jacob and bring him somewhere special. And when they were at the special place, he did something. The Boss Man betrayed him and left him to die. But he saw something. The Boss Man killed the Canopy, but as it was built from the creator of Canopy. And everything was ready, and Jacob would get revenge. For everyone.